What is up? It's your boy Johnny Shreve, IFBB Pro and Tell Like It Is. Welcome back to another episode of Train With Me, where we break down one movement today, and we're gonna break down conventional deadlifts. We'll go over sumo the next video, but I really gotta go over conventional deadlifts so we can understand how to actually approach them the right way to make it optimal for whatever you're training, whether you're doing powerlifting or just putting into your regular everyday, leg day or back day. This is how you should be approaching deadlifts. Okay, to start, so we're gonna go over a couple things. We're gonna start obviously from the ground up. So a lot of people are wondering, like, where should my feet be? How wide should my feet be? What's my width? So a really easy cue for you guys, literally spin in a circle, just so you're honest, and jump in the air. So here, and there I am, around there you go. So if I can do this a couple times, and I'm landing in naturally, virtually the same feet width position. So the reason why I do that jump, that helps you out to what your width should be like, is because when you're jumping, it's naturally where you are hinging to jump. So when you naturally jump, there's where your legs are placed in a natural position where you can jump normally for your structure. So from there, when we're approaching the bar, now a couple of things we want to know is like the bar pathway. Our job is to make sure the bar pathway stays the complete same. Our job is to get to the bar and to keep it in the same pathway without manipulating it with bad form. So we're gonna walk up to this bar, and you wanna have it like right above your shoelace, right? You can have it touching your shins if you felt like it, right? But having it right there on top of your shoelace, like basically where you tie your shoe here on your foot, that's where you want it. Oh, sorry guys, but a lot of you guys are watching the videos but not subscribed. So guys, hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification button so next time I put a video, you'll be the first ones to get it. And hopefully by now you guys like the video, so hit that like button. All right, back to the show. Working our way up, we want a level of external rotation. Basically, when we do this, we're not trying to externally rotate and then keep pulling our feet open like this. Our job is just to externally rotate so our knees align with our toes. Naturally, my knees come inside of my toes. When I externally rotate, it puts them in line with my toes, and that's where I want to stop engaging there and leave it at that position. So when I do hinge, everything kind of lines up with each other. I don't have kind of this stuff or too much of this. I have it perfectly in line with my toes. So from here, again, a little bit of external rotation. If you don't know how to do that, a pretty cool cue you can do, get a piece of paper towel, put it on the floor, and then stand on the piece of paper, and I want you trying to rip the piece of paper. That's gonna cause external rotation. Remember, the external rotation comes from here, not from your feet. The result of your feet being able to rip the piece of paper is from external rotation at the hips here, and external rotation is gonna primarily come from your glute maximus here. So the reason why we want to externally rotate is so when we're doing the actual hinge, our glutes are engaged with this entire movement, because again, this is what's gonna help us get the weight up and down, right? That hip hinging. All right, so now that we're there and we're comfortably at where we should be in terms of width, we're activated, we're tight. Now, we have an argument going on about how should we be in posture, right? Should we be pinned back like this? Now, to clear things up, when I give you the cue to, pretend someone's tickling your armpit and you do this, this isn't shoulder retraction or scapular retraction. That's more so of if I'm pushing my hands to the floor, from this way, you're going to get protraction and shoulder depression. So from the side, you're gonna get from here, this, but you're not getting this, because it will be impossible for you to be retracted and then pushing down and then be able to hold the bar, because you end up kind of doing this kind of stuff like this. We wanna have your shoulders basically pushing down to the floor with a good level of your chest or sternum being elevated a little bit. Not like this where we're having, again, shoulder retraction or scapular retraction, but enough to keep ourselves engaged. So we're pushing to the floor, we don't have this thing happening. Because if we have this happening, then we have our back, our T-spine rolling. We don't want that. A level from here is good. Now, when it comes to your overall brace, now this is what we want to talk about in terms of how successful you're going to be in terms of lifting this weight or doing a deadlift, is your brace. And what is your brace? Well, we're going to go right here. Brace is basically that little kind of triangle I kind of feel right here. It's basically your glutes and your core right here, center of mass, this thing here being tight and not breaking. So if your brace breaks, this whole thing breaks. Now the biggest thing we want to is engage our core, and that's to keep this part of our back healthy and safe. This is what we want to keep safe the entire time. Hey guys, just for you to know, a lot of things we talk about, I actually break down even further in my free training series that you can find in the description below. I go over the most common mistakes that people are doing today, right now in the gym. So guys, hit the description below and get part of that free training series. Now back to the show. You can have a level of T-spine flexion, a little level, and that's because you're doing more protraction from here and shoulder depression pushing down, and you get a little bit of that, but this is not acceptable. This is what we're not talking about. So if you ever see anyone do a lift like this, they're wrong. This is fine. This is wrong. This is fine. So a couple of things you can do, and you've probably seen some powerlifters do it when they start. They kind of do this, and then they'll put their arms and they'll kind of reach down to the ground. They'll do this thing. They'll get their shoulders apart. That's where basically where their hands are going to be when it comes to, you know, width. And then they're from here and they're pushing to the floor. So when they get down and they start to hinge from here, they're sitting down and grabbing the bar. Now, when we get the bar, we want to avoid too much knee flexion. I've went over this before a gazillion times. The difference between squatting and hinging is squatting, you're gonna have a lot more knee flexion. Hinging, you're gonna have less knee flexion, or that basically shin bone isn't gonna travel much back and forth. They're gonna almost stay completely straight to an extent depending on your overall body composition. If you have longer tibia and a short torso, there's gonna be a lot of knee over toe, which is fine, and you have to adjust yourself. But we wanna push from here. We're going to hinge up that butt back, right? And when I'm going down, my butt's hinging just like a Romanian deadlift. I'm lowering myself from hinging here, not from doing this, because when we do this, we just move the bar, and the bar is now off its pathway, because if I pull the bar from here, it comes to here, and then I have to bring it back, which we don't want. We want this thing basically to go right back down where it came while I direct it back down. So from here, we're gonna walk up to the bar. Get yourself grounded. Grip your toes into the ground. Feel the ground first. Get yourself in a good position over the bar. Chest up a slight bit, and then push your hands to the floor, right? We're already engaged from here. Keep pushing down on the floor while I start to hinge my butt to grab the bar. When I'm here and I'm on the bar, grab the effing bar. I don't know how many times I see people try and get set up, and they're already set up, and their shoulders are in and stuff, and their hands are doing this. Then as soon as they do this, it all comes to disaster. Your arms and your hands are basically your ropes with hooks attached to them. And all we're doing is put them there and keep them there and wrapped. We can't figure out how we're going to deadlift, or we can't really necessarily get ourselves completely set until we're grounded with the floor and our hands are grabbing the damn bar. So from here, pushing down on the floor, grabbing the bar. Right now, there's nothing happening right now at all. If I do this, nothing is going on. What I want to do is, once I have my hands on the bar, I'm going to pretend that someone's tickling my armpit, basically doing this. That's going to line myself up with the bar being stacked over. Right now, the bar, I'm stacking the joints over top this bar. My arms are in front of it like this, not totally behind it. So we're not going to sit down so our knees come forward like this. We're gonna shift a little bit of that weight from that's kind of sitting on my toes right now. I'm gripping with my toes, but I'm gonna let myself kind of sit. It's going into my big toe, like my balls of my feet. Now it's right into the center. From here, I'm falling in a bit. And that's what I want. I want to have some type of tension on the bar before I get up. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like lifting the bar almost from a dead, which is basically what we want. But I do want to make sure that I'm engaged. So we're here, pushing down the floor, grabbing the weight, right? As close to our shins as we can. The reason why we're doing that is because if we go further out, now you have to get lower and lower to the ground. And most of you guys aren't flexible enough to do a snatch grip, anything. So give yourself some help. Bring yourself right beside your shins, grip the bar, and then I'm gonna pretend someone's tickling my armpit, shoulder depression, retraction, and then I'm gonna push to the floor like I'm doing a leg press. Keep my core tight, pressing, hips forward. On the way down, the same thing. I'm gonna let that bar keep pushing me down. I'm not gonna let it roll me this way. I'm gonna keep myself here, a little bit of my chest elevated, pushing, letting the bar come down, and then bending my legs again, same way, hinging from the top, pushing down, the exact same way. Pulling up, and then down. We wanna avoid this, because right away, I'm gonna use my neck. I'm gonna end up doing this. Where your head sees is where your body will go, right? If I do this, I'm gonna wanna do this after. We don't want that. From here, straight up, head's here, and then keeping that gaze down from here. Up, and down. Again, up, and down. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, I actually break these things down even more on my one-on-one private coaching and in my ebook. So if you want to know about that even further, guys, hit the link below and get a part of my team, or just get the ebook. Enjoy the video, guys. Peace. And that's how your deadlift should look. Now, take all of these cues. The start of this and the finishing of this is almost the exact same as you would if you're doing a Romanian deadlift. The only difference is you're not bending the knees as much depending on your mobility, again. So if your mobility doesn't allow you to get all the way to the floor, what you're gonna do is, when you do your Romanian deadlift, because if you're doing Romanian deadlift, you're gonna pick it up like you would doing a deadlift. So what I'll do is, I'm gonna pick it up like a deadlift. From here, I'm locked in, and then putting it back down like I was doing a deadlift, only I'm not going to bend my knees until I feel crazy tension. Now, I can get all the way to the ground and still have good flexion and good flat back. If you can't, and your mobility doesn't allow it, you only go low enough that you can keep good form and feel your hamstrings and pulling back up. Until your body allows you to get low and deeper and feeling it here still without your back rolling, only go as low as your body allows you in terms of your overall flexibility, where you can sustain and maintain a good brace, you know, basically your core engaged, your neutral spine, lats engaged, and so forth. All good stuff. All right, guys, that is it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You know, we're kind of that tell like it is, transparent, vulnerable truth. For coaching, johnasheet.com. If you want to know about coaching, training, supplementation, nutrition, mental health, you just want to chit chat and talk and figure out if what you're doing is correct. Book yourself a phone consult, 15 to 30 minutes. After the consult, I deduct the consult off any package that you pick. Also, guys, hit the description below for those discount codes and promo codes that will save your life or change life for the better. Also, guys, make sure you guys add me on Instagram and TikTok. Send our progress pics, training clips, and your video clips, and I'll repost it for you, because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.